NASCAR is set to announce a NASCAR weekend in Mexico for both the NASCAR Cup Series and the NASCAR Xfinity Series. From the looks of it, this will be at the Autodromo Hermanos Rodriguez course that is used with Formula One races in Mexico, as well as the Mexico Series that NASCAR has. And it was also used in 2005 through 2008 with the Xfinity Series. This is a big move for NASCAR, and they haven't really done any out-of-country races in the Cup Series in any way since they were in Japan in the late 90s when they raced the Cup Series there in an exhibition race. So this is a huge deal for NASCAR and a big step into the modern era in a lot of ways. Now, there are a few things to note about this whole deal. First off, yes, this will be the same track that F1 uses, though they might have to edit or maybe even use a completely different layout for it, just because it might not work the same way with stock cars as it would with Formula One cars, which I think we can all expect. But this is probably going to be a very popular local event. This was a popular event for the Xfinity Series back in 2005, with nearly 100,000 people coming in, packing the place out. Now, it is worth noting that attendance number by 2008 was cut in half, so NASCAR, one, needs to make sure this first weekend is memorable, but two, I think they need to really think long and hard about how they can make this last, because yes, they're probably going to try and go to other different markets, and we'll talk about that in a little bit, but you got to at least keep the ones that have a larger amount of NASCAR fans happy, and maybe in those areas, grow it internationally as well as internally. And another thing I think that people should note, and this is per Bob Pockrass, is that if you're worried about Kyle Busch racing, it sounds like he'll be fine to race there and be in the country after his arrest. But what it looks like is that this race originally was rumored to be run on the June 7th and 8th weekend. That was at least the date that we had heard. Now is Father's Day weekend, which I have to admit, especially with the idea of Michigan being moved back to Father's Day, I'm not crazy about. I do think that at least that holiday should probably be kept in the country where there are the majority of die-hard long-term fans, but if this does work out, it's not really going to matter. And at the end of the day, it's not do or die for me personally. It's more of a preference. But looking broader on this is part of NASCAR's push to expand, and another one of the many rumors, and possibly by the time you see this, confirmations of the 2025 NASCAR schedule. First off, the international expansion. This is the first of what we're assuming will be probably numerous international races in the coming years for NASCAR. Of course, with Mexico in 2025, there's a rumor of Brazil being added as the Clash location in 2026 in Sao Paulo. That one is also accompanied by the fact that NASCAR has been working very hard to get back up into Canada. Canada is probably the second highest concentration of NASCAR fans in the world behind the United States. And there's a large amount of Canadian fans that watch every week. There's a large amount of Canadians that are in the industry as well. And I've even noticed on my analytics that just watch my videos, Canadians are very much a diehard group. And I do think for being as diehard as they are and how it is probably more difficult up there from what it sounds like to get every race in the top 3 series than it would be in America, I do think that they deserve to get something in return for their diehard fandom. And then there's also talk of more street races. Obviously, Chicago is going into the current final year of its deal with NASCAR, and with that, NASCAR is looking to expand. Now, the original one that had popped up a lot was Pittsburgh. They seem very eager to bring NASCAR in, and it feels like it fit. The way the city overall fits that kind of NASCAR hardworking blue-collar mindset. But there's other ones. San Diego, Cincinnati, and Baltimore are the ones that were named on top of cities in the Pacific Northwest. The Cincinnati one I actually really like because personally I'm a big fan of the city of Cincinnati. I've been to a couple Vikings-Bengals games up there, and the Cincinnati fans are some of the coolest fans in all of sports that I've been able to be around, and I think that they would be really enthusiastic about a brand new flashy sporting event. And it's kind of funny with Pittsburgh, San Diego, Cincinnati, and Baltimore. that you're kind of wondering what other cities with AFC football teams are they going to try and expand into. But this is also part of more rumors with schedules beyond. The 2025 schedule is starting to get pieced together. Chris Myers, for instance, after the Bowman Gray Clash announcement, pretty much leaked the first 6 weeks of the year. Of course, the Daytona 500, then Atlanta, COTA, Phoenix, Vegas, and Homestead. It's also all but confirmed that Rockingham is coming back on Easter weekend. You, of course, have the 2 weeks back-to-back in the Carolinas, and North Carolina at that, with North Wilkesboro and the Coke 600, which 600 would start Prime's portion of the season, and you have nearly all of the TNT Turner side of it, with Atlanta on June 28th, Chicago is under contract for 4th of July weekend still, and Dover July the 20th. Iowa is also rumored for August 3rd, and that's what a lot of people have talked about. And we know that Daytona will be back as the regular season finale again, since there's no Olympics to screw up the schedule and get in our way. Also, Jordan Bianchi had leaked out what the playoff schedule will be, so we'll have that up on the screen, and we've talked about it in previous videos as well. As for the lower series, on top of that Rockingham news, it's pretty much been confirmed, if not completely confirmed at this point, that Milwaukee will not be on the truck schedule next year. Both a TV deal that kind of went sour because of IndyCar with Fox, as well as the fact that the local area and Fair Board couldn't schedule at any point that wouldn't conflict with their schedules, and some other management issues, we should say. Overall, my prediction is this when it comes to the schedule, seeing how this Mexico deal has been finished out and it's just ironing out some of the loose ends at this point. The full 2025 schedule, I would not be surprised, for all of the top 3 series, should probably be released very soon. If I had to guess, I would say it'll probably be released by the end of next week at the latest, personally, just because Mexico was the one that we all kind of understood was the big part that was holding up the schedule, whether it would be Mexico getting that date or if Richmond would retain its second date. And it seems like Richmond will be losing a date because of this, and it seems like if the media is already talking about it, I don't think it would fall through at the last second, or NASCAR would really risk that. So I think this is pretty much that last kind of domino to fall into place. But with that, I want to know what you think. Let me know your thoughts on NASCAR going to Mexico, going international in general in the next year, 2, or beyond, and also just the 2025 NASCAR schedule, which is pretty much fully put together based on what we've all been able to gather over the last couple weeks and months. Well, alright, leave a like on this video, share this video, and subscribe to this channel for more great and fun NASCAR content. Thank you so much to all my channel members for your continued support, and be sure to watch NWP tomorrow night on this channel, 8 p.m. Eastern Time. We'll have Danny B Talks, Eric Estep, and be joined by special guest Auto Racing Analytics. Got plenty to talk about, and we can't wait to see you there. So until then, have a good one.